seconds left.
I don't know, obviously, what do you do?
It's a family show.
Kick the chair? I mean, I don't understand a flagrant technical. This guy here.
Peyton's feeling it. He looks back at Mike Davis on the bench, and Mike Davis just flashes him a smile.
And you know what's great for these guys? Mike doesn't even have any subs to put in, so these guys get to keep playing. Most of the time, the bench is going to be in. He doesn't have one.
22 points in the game on 6 made threes for Robert Vaden. It's his 13th 20-point game this season. And that's great for Mike Davis and Robert Vaden to be able to flash that smile. They became very close. Remember, Vaden played at Mike Davis for Indiana. He's out of Indianapolis's Pike High School. They got very close during the time at Indiana, especially when Robert's father died after Vaden's freshman year. He and Mike Davis became very close. So when Davis was let go by Indiana, hired by UAB, Vaden said it wasn't much of a choice. He was coming with Mike Davis.
Carter, like a lot of guys, when they transfer from one school to another, they're not playing a lot. This guy was second team all Big Ten at Indiana. This was not a scrub at Indiana. He was one of their best players. And for him to follow Mike Davis, what does that say about Mike Davis? Obviously, he had that kind of influence on this kid, and that's how much he looks up to Mike Davis. So you got to say that's a pretty special relationship. For this kid to leave Indianapolis and the University, you know what it is? Indianapolis will grow up dying to play for Indiana. And this kid left with his coach to go somewhere else. That really says something about this kid and that relationship.
Good round of applause as Robert Vaden subs out at the 8:15 mark. His work may be done for the day, knocking down 6 threes with 22 points. UAB's up 30. Make it 31. Vaden makes sure that when he walks out of the gym today, he has more made threes on the season than Southern Miss does as a team. The count today, Steve, would be, let's see, 17 made baskets for Southern Miss. UAB has 13 threes.
Well, they started out coming out of they came out of the locker room hot, and they've just maintained it the whole day.
Aaron Johnson with a kick to Mike Davis Jr., who gives it up. Kraft knocks it out. Oh, Robert Vaden's day may be done, but what a day it was.
This is unbelievable. The way this kid has shot the ball today is just unbelievable. If this was, again, practice where nobody else was out there, he'd be doing a pretty good job. But they didn't really put enough duress, not enough duress on a kid like this who's such a great shooter. Got to get up on him.
Brain, think fast. What's the girl's name who's always putting stuff on our desk? Come on, it's like a flower or a boat. Brain, I need you. Quick, capital of Moscow, Russia. Nice recovery. 1492, Columbus did the ocean blue. Mom's birthday is May 4th. Karate is from Japan. Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is from, well, Brazil.
Susan!
Way to go, Brain.
Head & Shoulders gives you awesome, flakeless hair you don't have to think about, leaving your mind free to wander. Head & Shoulders. Respect the scalp. Get the hair.
You know, it's not all fun and games when you're a mascot. Every year I find myself where the season always ends meets the bills never stop. You know that place where you realize even a squirrel can't live off peanuts? Well, maybe you don't, but believe me, I'm there.
Here's a way to score on savings.
Nice.
Switch your car insurance to State Farm. You'll save big, plus get a payment plan that fits your budget. Call, click, or visit and start saving today.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
You know I wear this everywhere.
They don't just come to play, they come to win. Speed, strength, intensity. Man, their whole game is a force to be reckoned with. Ready or not, don't miss UNLV versus BYU. Coming up next, only on CBS College Sports.
Steve asked during the break, who's this guy? That's the Vulcan. This is the Roman god of forged metal. This area was known for much of his history for iron and steel production. So there's a big Vulcan statue on the highlands just south of Birmingham, Alabama. So that's the Vulcan.
Does he make threes too?
Yeah. If he's on the UAB side, he makes threes. 13 18 made threes in the game for UAB, which is why they lead at 72-43.
And to put that in perspective, Carter, they only average 6.5 threes a game all year. So they are double what they normally make with 7.5 minutes to go.
UAB school record for three-pointers is 14. It's happened 14 times, most recently last year at SMU, as Courtney Beasley hits that jumper. So they have 13. One more three would tie the school record. Two more would break it. There's still 7:20 to go in this game.
Well, Vaden's out of the game, so, you know, if he doesn't come back, then I think the record could be safe.
Jeremy Wise brings it up for Southern Miss. Kraft with a leaner from the baseline won't go. Delaney leads the UAB break. Channing Tony wants it. Instead to Mike Davis Jr. Channing Tony backing in with a shot fake. He draws the foul. Coming up next on CBS College Sports, Mountain West battle in a good one. UNLV taking on BYU in women's basketball. Lady Rebels looking to avenge an earlier loss this season by 4 points. Women's basketball in the Mountain West coming up on CBS College Sports, the pulse of college sports. Channing Tony knocks down the first of his 2 free throws. 17 in the game now for the senior from Snellville, Georgia. Transfer from Georgia. As you mentioned, Steve, he has been a great addition to UAB.
And he really got him going today. In the first half, he was on fire earlier in the game, scored 10 points early, and that really got him going in this game.
With his 18, that ties his UAB career high. He had 24 when he was playing at Georgia in 2004. So this is his Blazer career high with 18 in the game. Fouls on Aaron Johnson. 8 fouls, so Jeremy Wise to the line for 1-1. Wise, the junior out of Jackson, Mississippi, played at Monarch High School, won a 5A title. He actually signed with George Washington out of high school. It's a 2-shot foul, correction. GW had some NCAA clearinghouse issues, so he ended up at Southern Miss. And he is the fastest Golden Eagle to ever get to 1,000 points. He had it in his sophomore year.
He's a very good player. You know, he needs to improve on his perimeter shooting because he can really put it on the floor and he's athletic, but he's a very good player. You know, when you're a guard, it really helps you if you can shoot the ball because it makes it much easier to slash if somebody has to get all the way up on you. Now, Paul Delaney, I'll tell you, the record is definitely in jeopardy right now. But so if you're a guard and you can make perimeter shots, now it's much easier to drive because they have to play you closer. Whereas a guy like Wise, they lay off of him, it becomes very hard to slash.
So with that last three, the 14th, as Craig Kraft hits just the second made three of the game for Southern Miss. He has both of them.
He's their best three-point shooter, and he shot that like a three-point shooter. You can see the rotation on the ball and everything that needs to be there for a good three-point shooter.
He had 27 versus UAB in that double overtime win last year in Hattiesburg. But it has gone the other way today big time. I mean, this game was never in doubt. It was a 19-4 start for UAB when Lawrence Kennard came out with a pair of threes and a long two. So 8 of the first 19 were from Kennard. A 19-4 start for the Blazers. And the new UAB career high for Channing Tony as he has 20.
It's not often when a game is really like over in the first 3 minutes, but unfortunately this one in retrospect was.
And unfortunately, Steve, we've seen a couple of those this year.
We've had a couple, yes.
First go round is when we saw Blake Griffin towards Tulsa. Now a run out chance for the Blazers. Tony takes it himself. 22 now for Channing Tony. This is just all fun now for UAB.
And that was, Paul Delaney is telling Tony, hey, why don't you throw it to me? Delaney thought he had a dunk there. Tony took a look, he's looking at it. Delaney's looking at Tony saying, man, what? Come on. He's looking at us, well, you can't throw it. Now they're joking with each other, they're having fun with it, sure, because they're up 33, so they should have fun with it. But Delaney was like, hey, why don't you throw me the ball?
Well, maybe somebody whispered to Channing Tony that he's now a bucket away from his career high at 24 back in the Georgia days. He already has his UAB high.
I guarantee you, even though they may not watch this part of the game when they're watching. This is one of those games for Mike Davis you watch like maybe the first 10 minutes of the game, then you throw it away.